The Keth'ari War Council had been deliberating for 6 hours, not because the answer was complicated, because none of them wanted to say it out loud. Finally, Fleet Admiral Soren set down his data slate and looked around the room. The human is still alive. Silence. After everything we sent at them, the human is still alive. One of the younger commanders leaned forward. That's not possible. The hollow sector doesn't allow for survival beyond 72 cycles. No food, no navigable star lanes, radiation saturation at lethal thresholds. We've confirmed 3 separate ship destructions. Soren nodded slowly. Yes, 3 ships. He paused. All of them ours. 48 cycles ago, the GCS Tenacity, a single human deep-range scout vessel, was cornered. It had been a clean operation by Keth'ari standards. 3 destroyers, 1 intercept vector. The human captain, a woman named Commander Yara Voss, had been transmitting on open channel when they caught her. A survey report, routine data about asteroid composition in grid 77 Alpha. She didn't stop transmitting when the destroyers locked on. She didn't even change her tone. The lead Keth'ari captain, a decorated veteran named Thresh, had found that unsettling. Humans, in his experience, panicked when cornered. They begged, they bargained, they made noise. This one just kept working.
This one just kept working. GCS Tenacity, he broadcast. You are surrounded and outgunned. Power down your drives and prepare for boarding. Resistance will be met with lethal force. A pause. Then her voice, calm as deep space. Received. Give me a moment. Thresh waited. His weapons officer looked at him. Sir? Wait. 30 seconds passed. Then Commander Voss came back on the channel. Okay, I'm ready. And then the Tenacity vanished. Not jumped, not cloaked, vanished into the one place in the sector that no rational navigator would ever go. The Hollow. Here is what Commander Yara Voss had done. Not what we think she did, not speculation. This is what the Tenacity's own logs showed when we eventually recovered them. She had studied the Hollow for 11 months before her mission, not as a hazard, as a resource. Every survey report she'd transmitted, including the one she was sending when Thresh cornered her, had been data collection. Gravitational drift patterns, radiation pocket mapping, debris field density in grid 77 Alpha specifically. She had chosen that intercept location. She had allowed herself to be cornered there because she had already planned her escape route, not away from the Hollow, but through it, along a narrow gravitational corridor she had personally charted over nearly a year of quiet, patient work. A corridor that her ship's modified shielding could survive if she pushed every system to its limit.
It was moving slowly, barely above minimum thrust, but it was moving out. Thresh was still in command. He had not left his post. When the signature resolved on his screen, he sat forward. It was the Tenacity. Damaged beyond any classification of combat-worthy. Hull breaches in 3 sections. Drive output at 9%. Oxygen recyclers flatlined. Running on emergency reserves. But intact. Moving. He opened a channel. For a long moment, nothing. Then her voice, rougher now, slower, but the same. Fleet Admiral, a pause. I'm going to need safe passage.
Thresh looked at his weapons array, at the readings coming off her ship. She had nothing left. She couldn't even run. One salvo and it was over. His weapons officer looked at him, waiting. Thresh thought about 47 Keth'ari vessels lost to the Hollow over 3 centuries. He thought about Retrieval 1, destroyed by its own debris, about Retrieval 2, allowed to live just long enough to deliver a message. He thought about 11 months of quiet survey reports that no one had looked twice. He pressed the comm. Tenacity, he paused. How are you still alive? Another silence. Then something that might have been a laugh. Carefully. Thresh granted safe passage, not because he was ordered to, not because of any treaty or protocol, because in 40 years of warfare, across 6 species and 100 campaigns, he had never encountered a mind that worked like that planned 11 months ahead for a moment that might never come, that turned a death trap into a chessboard, that sat alone in the dark, irradiated, running out of air, and stayed calm, stayed thinking. The War Council was furious with him. He submitted his resignation the same day. His letter read in full, "We were not fighting a soldier. We were fighting a human. I suggest we learn the difference before we lose something we cannot recover."